Hello everybody, time to talk about Ravenhearst. After your success with the Queen's Hope, you are contacted by the Queen herself, yes, really, who asks you to investigate Ravenhearst Manor. You go and begin piecing together Emma Ravenhearst's diary, and discover her story and her meeting and subsequent relationship with one Charles Dalamar. These are two names that will become very important over the course of most of the next few games. So once again, first we are going to talk about the positives. In this game, they finally did away with the time limit. Kind of. Basically, there are two modes. There's the regular mode, which I imagine is a time limit similar to the first two games, though I don't know because I've never played that particular version. And then there's the relax mode, which gives you a lot more time. Far more time than you really need, but I'm happy for that because I felt that I could really enjoy the game more. This is really where the creators of Mystery Case Files began to explore darker content. Emma's story is dark. I won't go into too much detail here, but it's not a happy story. Obviously, in the first two games you are investigating crimes, but none of them involve murder, which is fairly prominent in this story. You get this story through pages of Emma's diary, and it's engaging enough, and Emma is a charming enough protagonist, that you want to keep going to see where the story goes, and you want things to turn out okay, even though it's not very likely. One of the things that this game introduces that becomes a bigger part of the games moving forward is puzzles. Throughout your exploration of the house, you occasionally come across rooms with locked doors. To get into these rooms, you have to solve puzzles to unlock the doors. These particular puzzles are more Rube Goldberg-esque. You have to find certain objects kind of hidden throughout the scenes and move them where they need to go, or you need to find a clue hidden somewhere and input that clue into another part of the scene. Admittedly, I'm not overly good at explaining it, but it is more challenging than just solving a jigsaw puzzle, but not too challenging that it can get frustrating. Again, these puzzles become a common thread throughout these games, and it's a welcome addition. The last positive thing is that one of the things that this game has that the previous two don't is atmosphere. The previous two games did have music, but nothing that really stuck out. While I will touch on music for this game in a later, less positive way, the other atmosphere in this game is spot on. It really makes you feel like you're in a dilapidated haunted house. The floor creaks, the wind blows through the house, and of course, a ghost talks to you. Occasionally, as you're playing, a female voice will say cryptic things to you in your hunt for objects. This game really puts you in this house with this ambient noise, and when I played it when I was younger, I did actually have to turn off the sound while I was playing after a while because it just spooked me too much. And now we move on to the negatives, and my immediate reaction to coming up with the negatives is that there weren't any. But realistically, that's my nostalgia brain talking. Ravenhearst was the first Mystery Case Files game that I played, and whenever I would do a playthrough of the whole series, it's always the one that I started with. However, taking off my nostalgia goggles, I can point out a couple of flaws. First of all, there's the music. I honestly don't remember if there's music. I know that the ambiance of the house is in the game, but I genuinely don't remember if there's music. Now, while you don't necessarily need music to have a good game, a lot of the other games did have music, and it did add to the overall experience. This game either didn't have any, which I don't think is true, or the music itself was incredibly forgettable and overshadowed by the ambiance. And finally, as much as I do enjoy this game, at the end of the day, it's just like the other two in regards to gameplay. It has better atmosphere and a new element in the form of puzzles, but those puzzles aren't in every round, and good atmosphere can only take you so far. Each round is going into various rooms and finding objects, and that's it. The end of each round even goes back to only being a jigsaw puzzle. And yes, I do like doing the last puzzle to find out what happens in the next part of the story, but it's a jigsaw puzzle. There's not really much else of interest there. Ultimately, this game is definitely better than the first two, and I do truly believe that it's a good game. It's certainly a better start to the Mystery Case Files series than the first two. However, it is still pretty much the same as those first two, and doesn't offer too much more to set it apart. It does offer enough to get it bumped up to a 6, however. So that is it for this one. Tune in next week where I will be talking about the next game of the series, Madam Fate, and I will see all of you tomorrow.